First Officer, Starlog, May 14th, 2265. We have received a distress call, planetary government, Class M planet called Fosterian 2. The signal is automated, recorded by a planetary regent named Tresta Zamerlane, asking anyone who can hear for urgent assistance with a plague ravaging the planet's populace. Her signal is on repeat, and we do not know currently how old the signal is. From what intelligence we can gather, the Fosterians are normally extremely isolationist, but are warp capable. General Order 1 need not be observed in this instance, but the captain is currently recovering from Denabian flu. First contact responsibilities fall to me. We are currently a week away, traveling at warp 6.5. However, hopefully we can make it in time to render assistance to the populace and gain an ally in Regent Zamerlane for our burgeoning federation. End log.
I knew I was forgetting something. I hadn't opened Roll20.
That would be helpful.
I was like, what am I forgetting?
Probably a lot of things.
All right, Ensign Daly, how's our speed? Engine's still running hot.
Holding steady at warp 6.5, sir.
Good. Wow. Me in the big chair for a change. Baker just sort of chuckles fondly to himself.
So this first scene will allow you to do any preliminary research or preparations you might want to do. At this point, all you know is that there's apparently a virulent plague on the planet. They're asking for assistance. That does fall in with your standing mission directives to render humanitarian aid if asked to civilizations that are appropriately advanced, which this one, as far as you know, is.
Yep. Did the transmission name the plague or any of its symptoms?
No, this was the very general repeating broad beam message. Didn't give any particular details.
Helpful.
Stalls rarely are.
All right.
You can say we need help. Actually say what's happening.
Yeah, well, hard to do research on a plague that we know nothing about. Yeah.
We can use the boots on the ground.
Yeah. Well, make sure we get some EV suits ready. Decon is going to be mandatory for this. GM.
You can, Merrick. Just give me a reason, engineering or science. Difficulty 1. This will be assisted by sensor science.
Take a threat.
So, science station, tactical station. and aughts.
I was looking at more like the history of it, what's there.
Wait, science, tactical, security.
No, science, tactical or armory officer station, engineering,
Engineering. Okay.
communications.
Yeah, I already know Merrick's communication. I'm trying to figure out the other three.
You guys have to forget that Ops exists in any other game, because it doesn't in this era.
All right. Can the ship assist Lieutenant Merrick?
Yeah, the ship will be assisting with sensor science.
Ooh,
The score is the same, but it's a 1.
nice.
Let's roll there.
So right now we're looking at 3 momentum gained. We just need the ship.
But that is the ship.
They've got a starship task.
Oh yeah, sorry. So 3 momentum gain total, and I will send you something, Merrick.
Starting our day with three momentum. This is good so far. How long will it last? With Bad Luck Baker in charge.
Hmm.
So, Merrick, what have you got?
It's an in-depth read, so hold on. Commander, the Fostron system was what's originally explored by the Vulcan science vessel, the Tamira. When they commenced in-depth scans of the system, they received an audio subspace transmission from an individual identifying himself as the planetary leader of Frostian 2.
And what about this transmission? Is it the
The
same
leader,
as this?
the leader struck a rather threatening tone with the crew of the Tamira, and wished to remain isolated. It seems rather than what the Vulcans believe that they are an isolationist type colony, also isolationist type society. Um,
So, even though they're already asking us for they're asking outsiders for help, they're still maintaining the isolationist
This was
mentality.
a 90-year-old log, Commander. This
The
contact
leader of
with
the people
them.
that originally made contact with the Vulcans is probably long dead at this point, so this is a new regime.
Quite possible. On the other hand, depending on how long lived this species is and how, I mean, we know Vulcans can live for quite some time. Perhaps the Vulcan who made first contact with these people could shed some light on things.
Unfortunately, they did not risk first contact with them, nor have they had any other contact prior, judging from the records, Commander.
Very well. Guess I'll have to do it myself then. We're still a ways away from them, though. I want everybody running as much or gathering as much data as we can on these people before we make contact. And from you, Merrick, I want to know any social customs, faux pas, anything like that. If I'm going to be negotiating with these people in order to help them, I don't want to offend them. Anything that you can gather. If we know nothing, then that's not your fault. That is just we simply do not have the information.
Commander, this log is the only thing that's in the database about these people. The only thing I
Without
can't.
the Vulcans making first contact, we wouldn't know anything about them other than some planetary scans.
The only thing with the system is the secondary planet is a class M, or well, Minshara class world. It is some sort of ringed planetary system.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant. All right. See if we can kick up the warp speed a little higher. Daily? Or Commander Olos, do you think we can get a little more juice out of the engines to get there faster?
Probably put the squeeze on it a little bit.
Do what you can without wearing apart.
Still hold together.
Keep it under or around warp 6. We go
We're already at 6.5.
Yeah,
So,
you're thinking warp 7.
yeah, I'm thinking more.
No, Harrison doesn't want to go much higher than warp 6 after the captain really shook the ship apart. That's why I said it for a reason. I'm not just crazy.
Increasing speed to warp 6.8, Captain.
Thank you, Ensign.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I clicked when I should have clacked.
All right, I'll go see how the captain's doing. Commander Olos, you have the Commander Olos, you have the bridge.
Aye.
I'm gonna go check in on the captain.
Okay.
Sure,
Take you down to... Ooh, new set. To the
Ooh, getting
captain's
a
quarters.
piece.
Yeah, your tokens will probably be huge here. I hadn't sized them. Well, no, I did, but
Massively large, like the giant Vulcans we've been dealing with.
right. Okay. Very quickly are outside the captain's quarters.
Yep. I chime the door.
And the captain will very slowly reach for the communicator that hopefully is here.
Yeah, there's one up on that panel above the bed.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Cap?
Commander, is that you?
Yes. Just checking in to see if you feeling any better yet.
Felt better being shot by the Romulans.
That bad, huh? Well, I suppose it's better than as long as you don't die by Romulans, that's fine by me. I'd rather not have a repeat of my last captain.
I'll get over this. How's the ship?
Holding steady at 6.5, and we are about to investigate this distress beacon on a planet that's been racked by plague.
Very good. Keep me in the loop, Commander.
Of course, sir. Anything you need? I can grab something from the mess if you need it.
I'll be fine. I can't seem to keep anything down right now.
Yeah, all right. You focus on feeling better, Skipper. I'll keep the ship steady. And I'll make sure these negotiations go as well as I can do it within my abilities. And you know I'm good at talking.
Very good.
All right, sir. Get some rest.
And the captain will just roll over in his bed, bring the covers up, and fall right back to sleep.
Yep.
Fair enough. So we'll go back up here to the bridge.
Oh, the captain's felt better, but at least he's not. At least he's recovering.
If we hold steady at warp 6.8, Captain, we will arrive in 4.4 days. Standard.
All right. Carry on with your duties.
So, yes, you all have a little over 4 days to make any preparations you think you might need to make. And this is kind of your guys' time to figure out what you want to do. If you want to do any free role playing, that's awesome as well. Just let me know when what you'd like to do on the way there.
There's really not much that needs Harrison's attention. The med team can conduct anything that we would need on the planet.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anything immediately that I need to do.
Okay. So,
All right.
Go ahead.
If nobody has anything to offer, I suggest a staff, or Baker will suggest a staff meeting in the or a bridge officers or senior staff meeting rather, in the meeting room, or consider our 4-chair meeting room.
Well, this is the kind of operations center planning table that was in the back of the NX class and in this class, obviously. There is a conference room. It's just not on this deck.
Right. Okay. Do we have a map for that, or just the
Yeah.
theater behind it?
Yeah, we do. Just I didn't know if you wanted to do it in the ops center or if you wanted to actually use the conference room.
I'm not going to do it in the ops center.
Okay.
We have more senior staff than we have chairs in that room. So
All right. Me. Get everybody sized. I think that's everybody.
yep,
I
for
miss.
senior staff, I believe so.
Okay. And you should be able, with the grid off, to fit yourselves to chairs a little better.
Try as soon as the chairs are visible. It's still loading the image for me, so it's kind of blurry.
Yeah, Roll20's been kind of glitchy this weekend.
Yeah, I'll say.
It's just been bad since everybody started using it.
I'll say, and one of my other groups, their entire character sheet got wiped for no reason, just because Roll20 has been acting up lately.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
Longer sitting on the table.
Say, take a seat. Right. Oh. All right, everyone. We're got a few days to plan before we get to. We have a few days to plan before we reach our destination at Fosterian 2. We know we know absolutely nothing about this plague other than its virulence and affecting most of the population. Suggestions?
Unfortunately, without more information on the disease itself, I can't really give any theories or possible remedies for it at this time.
I'm no medical officer, but we'll have to make a quick assessment of their situation. Being that they're so isolationist, I don't think if they're asking for help, they're in a good situation at all. I don't think they're going to be hung up on anything that we can do for them aside from help.
I'm inclined to agree, Commander.
Though I would worry eyes of caution's commander. The Vulcans did feel that they were more threatening. At least their leader did 90 years ago.
The Vulcans are threatened by everything that doesn't immediately bend to their will. If you tell a Vulcan to go away, they just do.
Commander,
interest in
bit
pursuing
more tact
relations.
with our
Some decorum,
friends
please,
in the
Commander.
Federation.
Hold your prejudices for now, Commander. Have some decorum for our Vulcan allies.
My apologies, but the point remains, if a culture doesn't want anything to do with them, the Vulcans are more than happy to not have anything to do with them.
Not
Which
interfere
falls-
where they're not wanted. It's an admirable trait for what we're doing out here.
There's Vulcan crew members on this ship. We're not the only people on board. You're going to have to curb your prejudices.
Granted, I will make an attempt to do so.
And actually, the only non-human on this ship currently is Lieutenant Commander Olos himself.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, even among the non-coms.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
kind of the oddball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Not the way
exploratory
it was set up.
at this time, the exploratory arm of Starfleet is mostly human. Vulcans, after having disbanded and broken up their war fleet, most Vulcans are choosing at this point to serve on Vulcan science vessels, and purely scientific kind of missions. It's part of the fallout of the discovery of Shurak's true teachings of the Kirshara and the fall of the Vulcan government and all that. So there are very few Vulcans serving in the defensive or exploratory versions of divisions of Starfleet, and most of the defensive border patrol and more military side is what the Imperial Guard is doing. So that's mostly Andorians and Andorian ships.
I was figuring since the Vulcans make up a sizable chunk of the Federation, they would have at least a couple.
Oh, there are here and there, but
Yeah.
on this ship, there's I mean,
They're
again,
mostly at an administrative level anyway.
yeah, are in the Vulcan Science Academy's science vessels. That's where most Vulcans are currently serving.
Right. Well, all the same. At least show some decorum and try to curb your prejudices.
Understood. Don't mistake my harshness on them for disrespect. Their scientific contributions, their diplomatic contribution to the Federation have been invaluable, but they're not the warmest of people.
Which is precisely my point. If they felt threatened by these people, usually Vulcans don't hold grudges to an extent.
That would be illogical, to quote the Vulcans.
There's also
Oh.
a marked difference between being approached by an outside entity and reaching out to one yourself.
Indeed. They're calling to us. These people must be absolutely desperate if they're calling for outside aid. And so we have to come up with what can we do? We have multiple diseases on record in our database. Perhaps, if we're lucky, one of the disease that's racking these people could be something we can fix with what we already know. The problem is isolating which one. Their transmission gave us nothing. Is that correct, Lieutenant Merrick?
I mean, judging from the log, the only log we have of these species is they are isolationist.
Yes, but they told us nothing about what the disease, symptoms, or transmission is. Or are.
The message was automated, which means it was something recorded for posterity, something recorded to be used in an emergency situation when they couldn't make call out themselves. It's not going to have any pertinent details for us until we. I'm assuming it's sort of a general distress.
Yeah, there was. It's broad beamed, so it's not. It wasn't targeted at you or any ship in particular. It's just a wide range distress
They could
beacon.
have
In which case,
experienced
could that
tidal
possibly mean
collapse
that
by now.
could that mean that the entire species is incapacitated?
Or at least on a bare bones operation where they don't have the capacity to send out these kinds of messages on their own.
Other resources could be going towards finding a cure and building
For all
places
we
that
know,
could
we could
house
show
the
up to
people
an
that are
empty
suffering.
planet.
All right, careful of talking over each other. I can't
Sorry.
hear it as well. It's important for the GM to follow what's going on.
Let's hope that it doesn't come to that we end up trying to help a empty world. I'd like to remain optimistic with the idea that there are people down there who need our help, who can be saved, and we have the means to save them. Now, first off, I'm going to need us to prepare ourselves for what we can assume is a biohazard level environment. Now, this may be a Class M planet, but this is a Class M planet we're talking about, but we don't know what this disease affects. Does it affect only the sapient population, or does it affect all organic life on the planet, or does it affect the air? Does it infect the air? Does it infect the water? There's all kinds of different factors. So, I'd like us to prepare EV suits for our excursion.
That won't be a problem. I will waive the opportunity costs usually associated with EVA suits. It really, because you're planning it so far ahead of time, and in this era, they're used a lot more often than others. So that's not going to be a problem.
Plus, it sounds like they're very much a mission required.
Yeah,
for this particular thing, I would think so. Baker's just laying out the plan.
Oh no, definitely. I just wanted to let you know you wouldn't have to worry about momentum or threat spins.
Should probably implement a decontamination protocol on return to the ship as well.
Of course. I would say, for safety's sake, going to and from ship, or coming back from the planet to the ship, would be extra long, an extra long session in quarantine in decon, while being medically scanned and decontaminated. Doc's gonna have a field day.
I do not like to be referred to as Doc, Commander.
My apologies, Commander Harrison. All right, let's hope some good fortune comes to us here. For that, any other questions or comments? Nothing?
None.
Alright.
Just that we should be prepared for anything when we go down there. We don't know what we're getting into.
Exactly.
Once we determine things such as symptoms, method of transmission, and situation itself, we'll be able to discuss effectively a course of action.
Yes. Now, I hesitate to say this, but we may also need phase pistols in case the more radical isolationists decide they don't want our help and decide to turn arms against us. We need to be able to defend ourselves, but only as a last resort, and and you are forbidden from using the kill setting.
Understood.
We don't want to hurt these people we want to save. Anyway, if that's all, then dismissed. Back to your stations.
Hmm.
So everyone okay if we skip ahead to your arrival in the system?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Everyone else is.
So yeah, you come out of warp on the edge of the Fostarian system.
Four days later.
Yep. And as you move into visual range of the planet, you see this.
Constructed ring.
Yes, even just visually, you can tell that this
Oh.
is the ring that the Vulcans mentioned is actually like a ring station encircling the planet equatorially. They're a little bit too thin to see at this distance, but there would be tethers running down to the surface at various points.
Wow, would you look at that?
Never seen anything like it.
Is that construct inhabited?
You would have to do a scan for that.
Yeah. But
Because holy cow, if that's inhabited, that's a lot of people.
yeah, and that's just the habitat ring, and the planet's class M. Assume people live on the planet as well.
So do you want to scan the planet's surface, to scan the ring?
Not yet.
Scan
Before we
both, I'd
establish
say.
contact with them.
Okay, that'll be
That might offend them.
Nandi, or if whatever you want to do.
First, send out a hailing signal to the. Well, first we have to scan where the freaking capital city is. We have to identify the location of the capital city. So,
As you're trying to determine how to contact the capital, you receive a hail from the planet. Sorry,
Open.
Merrick.
Open hailing frequency.
And appearing on your screen, this is planetary regent Tresta Zameline to approaching vessel. Have you come in response to our distress call?
This is Commander Bryce Baker of the USS Aurora from the Federation of Planets. Yes, we have come in response to your distress signal. We hear you've encountered a plague.
Oh, thank goodness. We would appreciate anything you could do for us. Unfortunately, our best scientists are stumped, and the plague is spreading rapidly. It's already taken over 2 continents, and while thus far there's been no appearance of it in the capital continent, it's only a matter of time, despite all of the safety protocols we've put in place.
In the interest of your people's safety, can you give us all any and all pertinent information as regards to this plague? We have no information from your SIG or from your transmission.
Yes, we would value any assistance you can give us. Your people are welcome to travel to the planetary capital at these coordinates, and we will brief you fully. Again, there's no need to be concerned. The plague has not reached this continent yet.
If it's all the same to you, we would still like to take precautions when coming down to visit.
Of course, I understand completely. I will wait your arrival. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Prime Regent.
And the communication is cut.
Well, let's get an away team together.
I think it goes without saying that I request to be on the away team.
Of course.
And since the plague has not spread to the capital continent, I don't see a reason to cover ourselves with EVA suits.
Yes. But I still say bring the phase pistols. Keep them on the stun setting. Just in case, so like as I said before a few days ago, if there's any isolationist radicals out there, do not draw them unless we are fired upon.
Okay, so as you're moving into the system, is there anything else you want to do?
Get ready for a long time spent in decontamination.
Harrison's going to head down to sickbay to prep a med kit with anything that he would need for the immediate future. And then
Everybody
prep
bring track quarters as well.
Have a medical officer on standby for decom as soon as we get back to the ship.
Okay.
All I'm going to do.
Anybody else?
No, I think I've got everything.
Okie dokie.
Anybody else?
To go down to the planet's surface. Is that what you were asking?
Now, if there's anything else you wanted to do before you went down.
No, I'm good.
All right. So
Who's flying? Are we going to bring Franks?
who all's going?
I would guess I would guess everyone on the senior staff.
Okay. Who's flying?
Not me.
I could fly, or we could bring Franks. Somebody else.
Actually, my flying probably would be decent. It's control con, right?
Control or daring con, depending on the situation.
Mine adds up to 15. What about you guys?
Did you ask for
Con
control
is a
con?
13.
Sorry?
Fine, it's only 10.
My control con is 12, so no.
Guess
Together,
I'm the one.
I'm at a 13.
Guess I'm the one flying then.
All right. Everybody's in.
We're leaving Lieutenant Spindle as person in command of the ship. Because the captain's incapacitated and the commander wants to go down to the planet.
Well, yeah, you've got other officers. It doesn't seem to be a hostile situation. And worst comes to worst, the captain will drag his big ass up to the bridge.
All right. I'm going to my set an example for others value on this one.
Okay. You're spending a
Very
determination?
Huh?
Is that a value or a talent?
Value.
Okay, now to use a value, you have to spend a determination.
I'm aware. But I also have veteran.
Okay. So yeah, that's fine. That'll give you an automatic critical success. And this is control control con difficulty 0 to launch.
To launch, but to fly and land is a different matter.
You're trying to use your value to launch the ship at the moment.
No, I mean to actually fly and land it.
Okay, so that it's going to be control con difficulty 1 to get you down to the what?
Yeah, you're not going to need to spend your determination
You
for
don't need
that.
to use determination for this. The difficulty 1.
Hey, he can if he wants to. So I mean that's fine if you want to use it.
I mean, given my notoriously shitty luck,
You chose to fly.
I
Can't blame
did.
us.
But I'll use determination and veteran afterwards.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 1 challenge die for your veteran. Go ahead and see if you get it back.
You got to make sure you hit enter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or click outside of the little box. Yeah. There you go.
Hell
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Got the determination back.
so roll control con difficulty 1. You've already got 2 successes on the board with your determination spend.
Yep.
What was the value you used?
Sorry,
Look like
I hit that wrong times.
Okay, so looks like with were you trying to roll 3 dice?
I was trying to roll 2. I hit the wrong button.
I'll count the first 2 on that first roll. So it's a success with your determination. You gain 2 momentum so you guys are up to 5.
And the shuttle?
Yeah, shuttle will assist with I think engines con, or is it structure con?
I think engine's con for this one. I think structure con's for when you're trying to not get too damaged from a
I just like to fit security.
Yeah, so engines con. Okay, and as you maneuver around the ring to head into atmosphere.
Sorry for the shuttle, I guess.
An alert goes off on the shuttle's
What's the
sensors.
gonna check the alert.
That'd actually be it's so where are you? Since the captain's playing NAMD, I'm going to have it pop up on the science console.
Wait, I don't know if we asked Baker. What value did you use?
He did. He used his lead by example or something.
An
Like that.
example for others.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Commander, I am detecting high amounts of gamma radiation.
Gamma radiation.
Yes, sir.
It's the Incredible Hulk.
In the landing zone. We may need those EVA suits after all.
I'm gonna double check the coordinates that the commander's heading to. That I pass over to flight
Uh,
to transfer.
No roll. They are absolutely correct. Namdi, do you want to do a scan?
Sure.
Okay, so it is going to be control science assisted by the shuttle's sensor science, such as they are. Difficulty 1.
Does she get a upgrade or probably not?
Should be noted on the back of their sheet if she's been activated before.
Oh, it is not first activation.
So yeah, she gets an upgrade.
This is her first one, so she wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
I'll use a momentum
Sure thing.
sensor op supply.
Yes, definitely.
All right, I push the button now to see how long it takes for it to actually show up. There.
There we go. So you get that momentum right back. Let me send you something.
If we're detecting high levels of gamma radiation, we will not be able to exit the craft without the EVA suits. It would be fairly hazardous to our health.
So let's use the EVA suits.
Right. Good, Namdi.
Everyone suit up before we exit the shuttle.
So the ring is made up of massive sheets of duranium. However, toward the inside of the ring, I'm seeing rows of photonic crystals that are bombarding the planet's surface with continuous low-level waves of gamma radiation.
Gamma bursts are coming from the ring.
Yes, sir, from the photonic crystals that are lining the inside surface of it.
Harrison, give me Insight Medicine difficulty 1.
Okay. I don't suppose pharmacology or advanced medical research would apply.
No. You can get an assist from the shuttle sensors science, such as it is.
Yes, double checking. What was the rule again?
Insight Medicine difficulty 1.
Okay. I'm going to spend a momentum for another die.
Sure thing.
There's one success.
What I needed.
Yep. Oh, we need
You don't have cautious.
I don't have. Do not. I don't. This was literally the first character I created. I didn't really know about those yet.
Well,
Ah.
and that's why I'm letting everybody tweak it.
Yeah,
before
I'm
beginning.
not gonna give him cautious. I'm gonna give him bold.
Cool.
Well, you succeeded.
Yep. Let's see. On further investigation of the levels of the radiation, these are incredibly dangerous. You cannot spend any time that ring without protection. Cannot open the door until we are in EVA suits. depending on how long this ring has been bombarding them, this disease might have been altered in a way that is far worse than we could have imagined.
Perhaps it's not a disease after all, but it could be gamma poisoning or radiation poisoning.
Could be as well. Prolonged exposure could have made it in such a way that
It's problematic for us.
they're now rejecting it.
Either way, it's problematic for us. If we don't leave without EVA suits, we still need to save these people.
We have to do what we can. I would just, Commander Olos, that you talk with some of their engineers to see how long that ring has been active and exactly what they are doing with it.
Cat on the keyboard. Right.
All right, everyone ready?
All right. Since when you hopped on the shuttle, you were talking about you didn't really need, to since it hadn't made it to the primary continent, you wouldn't really need protective measures. You are going to have to pay some opportunity costs for the EVA suits.
Mm-hmm.
Because you did say
Way around that. It now.
Yeah, because you said, it's not made it to the planet's surface yet, so we really don't have to worry about blah, blah, blah.
As from the information that Harrison had, he gave a recommendation.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. See what the so okay, you're at 4. With the standard loadout for the shuttle, there are only 2 aboard. They cost 2 opportunity each. If you want there to be enough for all of you, I will take that opportunity cost and threat for the other 3. Or 4, rather.
And really open the door without everybody being in an EVA suit, so we have to spend it.
Yeah, I'd say do it anyway. We can take the threat and buy it off with momentum later.
Ooh. In his last words.
Hooray!
I like to be optimistic.
It's fine.
Okay.
Nothing bad will happen to Harrison.
So yes, you do have the EVA suits you will need. The landing is no problem. And with that, we move to scene 2, but you have no momentum anymore, so no big. Go to...
You didn't have to get rid of the momentum holder, did you? Or I guess it works.
Okay.
Not sure what I was expecting. Anyway.
I'll put up the wrong token for the Prime Minister. Oh well. Got it. Oops, he's not here. Okay, Cat.
Common Rider cosplayers.
Okay, so you're met at the... As you go down, you see that large swaths of the planet's surface are obviously been damaged by what you would assume would be the radiation over a long period of time. There are large domes throughout the continental land surfaces. Some of them appear to contain cities, which is one you're heading for, a major one, and others appear to be some sort of agrarian domes of some type. If you want to do any scans, I can give you a little bit more information about the planet as you head down.
Tricorder scans.
Or if you want to take some scans from the shuttle as you're going down, either way.
Probably get more information from the shuttle.
Probably.
Looks like Vogel's BRB, so somebody with a good science wants to make a control science assisted by sensor science, or somebody can always grab Namdi, the supporting character.
All science. And for me, it's a 13, so theoretically I can do it.
15.
A few better at it than me.
I just don't have a focus.
12 for me, so not me. Sorry, 14 for me.
What's the
It was control
difficulty?
science.
Control science, Diff 1, assisted by shuttle sensor science.
I'll be 14. Control science for me would be 14. I'd leave it to somebody with higher stuff, if possible.
I got it.
Okay. So
The shuttle
shuttle.
is science, is sensor
sensor
science.
science, yeah.
Okay. Well, damn you. Okay.
Take
Take
one
the
sprint.
Okay.
first one, the second one. So
Okay, so the
lead.
3 momentum gained. All right.
Told you we'd make it back.
Let me type up something for Eric. Okay, yeah. There you go, Merrick.
Commander, it appears that at least for the most part that the long-term effects of the radiation have wiped out a large percentage of the planet's fauna and flora. Appears that they've erected several massive domes for some cities, some for food growth and processing. The planet's surface appears to be mostly contaminated are massively contaminated.
Pardon me?
The gamma radiation appears to have massively contaminated the planet's surface. Most of the plant life on the surface of the planet is been wiped out.
So it affects all organic life on the planet.
Or radiation tends to destroy more than it helps.
Lovely. I always get
Okay.
the good ones, don't I?
Oh, bad luck, Baker. What do you expect?
Yeah.
If this is a gamma-induced affliction, then it should be easy enough for me to contain.
So you land, and a functionary wearing a kind of decorative or decorated radiation visor over much of their face leads you into a very elaborate government building looking complex under a massive, beautiful dome. You can see the ring arcing above the sky, across the sky in orbit. Everyone, you see various people going about their daily activities. All of them wear some sort of radiation visor covering at least the upper half of their face. They're generally highly decorated, but you see kind of a spectrum from very functional, practical to very elaborate, gold etched kind of things. And a lot of them tend to be coordinated with some of the clothing they're wearing, as if it's almost a fashion accessory.
So these people must be accustomed to the radiation. All the same, something puts me or is making me uneasy.
They don't appear sick. They seem to be going about their business. They do seem to be kind of taking some care to stay a distance apart from each other. Even people who are talking in groups are well separated. You see a few people here and there walking around with either full head coverings or what appears to be some sort of medical mask over the lower half of their face, but not everyone. And you are led into an elaborate office in the upper levels of the government complex, where you are shown in, and you see the planetary regent seated behind the desk in a very decorative, elaborate radiation shield, and another woman kind of standing beside the desk here in a decorated shield. The Zamaline gets up and comes around the desk. Oh, thank you so much for coming.
We're glad to be here of assistance. I'm Commander Baker from the USS Aurora of the Federation of Planets.
United Federation of Planets. I'm afraid I haven't heard of your organization, but we tend to stick to ourselves here on Fosteria. Please welcome. Make yourselves comfortable. This is Velastra Thalathan, one of my advisors and CEO of the Immunicorp Corporation.
Immunicorp.
She kind of nods at her. Yes, Immunicorp is the largest industrial combine on Fosterian, and is also responsible for the construction and maintenance of the planetary ring. And she kind of gestures above her head.
Yes, I've been meaning to ask about that. What is the purpose of the planetary ring?
Zamaline kind of sighs, and she says, About 200 years ago, when Fosterians first developed warp capability, we engaged in exploration missions outside of our systems, contacted nearby species. But when the crew returned to Fosteria, they brought with them a virulent pathogen that rapidly spread throughout our society and killed millions. Immunity Corp, after trying desperately to find a cure for the virus, was unable to do so, and the only effective treatment found was a steady bombardment of gamma radiation, which inhibited and we thought destroyed the virus. For 200 years, the ring has kept us safe and healthy, but now a new version, very, very similar to the original Outlander virus, has arisen on 2 of our continents, and it seems to be resistant to radiation treatment. Our scientists have tried desperately to find some cure, and once again have been completely stymied. And we hope, so we took the chance of putting out a distress signal in the hope that you or some other species would be able to bring a fresh perspective or new technology to bear.
We would be more than happy to help, and fortunately, I have brought both my science officer and my chief medical officer here with me. Any information you can get, you can give them on both the previous plague and the current one would be most appreciated.
Thalastin turns kind of most of her back on you and says, "Regent, again, I must protest. It was Outlanders who brought this virus to our planet in the first place. Looking to Outlanders again to try and help us will just make the situation work. Who knows what pathogens they may bring with them."
Can I roll for negotiation to see if I can try to convince her?
Who are you trying to convince?
Thalassin.
What are you trying to convince
You
her
said
of?
Thalassin's the one who's opposed to us, right?
Yeah, who's opposed to seeking outside help, apparently.
I was going to. I want to roll. I want to roll.
So yeah, you role play what you're going to say to her to try to convince, and then
Right.
do presence command.
Your government sent out a distress signal to. Your government sent out a broadband distress signal to anyone who would listen, because you are desperate for help from anybody. Your scientists haven't come up with any answers, but if we work together, your government, your company, and our scientists and doctors, perhaps we can come up with a cure or a solution to this plague problem, so it doesn't have to bother you ever again.
Okay. Roll presence command. This will be opposed.
Presence command.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to use my negotiation focus for this one.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my cautiously optimistic value as well.
Okay. Tell me how you're applying that.
Extra, or the two automatic successes.
No. I'm asking how you're calling on that value in this situation, role playing wise.
I already told you. I already explained that one. If we work together, we can overcome this together. We can overcome this.
Right. So cautiously optimistic applies how?
You're speaking to them. You're trying to justify how you're using it to the GM.
Like how that value.
Being optimistic, he's hoping he's being optimistic. He's hoping that they can come up with a solution together.
Okay, sure, I'll allow it. So that's 2 automatic successes, and then
Roll
go ahead and buy any dice you want to, or however you want to roll it. And yeah, you're
Okay. Does anybody mind if I take a point of momentum
Go for it.
for an extra die? All right, cool.
It'll be 2 to get that third.
Oh, it's 2 momentum.
Yep. Or a momentum and a threat.
yeah the spending determination counts as buying a die, so it ups the price of the next dice.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll spend both. I'll take both momentum for the extra die.
Okay.
This is an opposed roll. I want to get as many as possible. Now I'm just waiting for roll 20 to actually.
Yeah, it's super laggy lately.
Mm-hmm.
Servers can't handle the amount of people that are now using it.
God, getting the maps together yesterday was a nightmare. Okay, and
Plus the 2 automatic successes from my determination. Or my
To
value.
roll your veteran.
Oh yes, rolling veteran as well. Forgot.
Oh my god.
since you guys gave me all of this lovely threat,
Oh no.
Didn't have a choice. Well then,
What's that complication gonna be?
Ooh, dang.
what you rolled 2 pops in a row. Goddamn.
Okay, so the Lawson is unconvinced. However, Zamaline you see nodding along with you. And so Zamaline looks at the Lawson and with a kind of stern tone in her voice says, Velastra, your people have gotten nowhere with this. I want you and Immunity Corp to work closely with these people and give them every assistance possible. I consider this a matter of national security, and I'm more than willing to invoke whatever government authority is necessary, if I have to ensure your cooperation. You can't. It's hard to read her expression, of course, because half of her face is covered with a visor. But she kind of, you see her kind of stiffen and her lips tighten, and then she just kind of nods, and a slow smile spreads across the Lasson's face, and she goes, "Of course, Minister, we will provide every assistance. I was sure that you would." So Zamaline says, Immunity Corp has isolated 3 people suffering from the virus in 3 different stages of its progression aboard their most advanced medical lab aboard the Ring Station. They are secure behind quarantine fields, but that is probably the best place to begin your work. You can take samples of from them of the disease in various states of progression, and also the Ring houses Immunity Corp's historical and modern databases of research into the Outlander virus. We thank you so much. Any help you can give us. I do not want to see the same thing happen today as happened 200 years ago, and indeed this mutation seems to be even more virulent and deadly.
Just to clarify, because I just forget the timeline of the technological development of it. Are medical force fields a thing that we have now?
No, I don't believe so.
Right. These people are not primitive.
I think.
Oh no.
More
I think
from
it
our
went on
ship.
the-
We
on
have
the
to
Aurora.
move somebody to. We
Yeah.
can't move anybody to our ship. It's too much of a risk. Regardless.
Yeah, no, I'm speaking less in
Force-
regard to
Force fields don't even exist currently now anyway.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, because they developed them on Enterprise. Malcolm was playing around with them, but they're not like, you don't have the structural integrity fields, and you're still using, actual physical barriers for the brig and stuff. So they're kind of in their nascent development stages. They've come a long way, but
Yeah.
they're not where they're going to be.
right.
They're
Yeah,
not
no.
they're not to the point where we can use them to keep viruses out yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No, I knew that they were advanced. I was more asking from our perspective.
Right.
That's not something we have.
Right.
No.
Well, and remember, from your perspective too, I mean, nobody in the Federation's at the level of building a ring around a planet.
Oh, well, of course. But force field technology and ring building technology
True.
are different things.
All right. Okay.
The last sentence says, as she says, I will transmit the coordinates to docking with the medical section of the ring. I believe your shuttlecraft can easily dock there. I will meet you there and introduce you to our staff.
Thank you. Let's go, guys.
Okay. So are you headed directly to the ring station, or are you going to do something? Are you going to go back to the ship first, or what's your plan?
Person wants to get it started immediately, so he'd want to go to the ring.
Namdi, what? Tamzik, you here?
Yes, I am here.
You're playing as not Lieutenant Namdi, right?
Oh,
No,
It's
that's not
Osborne.
me.
that's
I'm
Osborne.
Osborne.
Yeah, Vogel's being Namdi.
Okay.
GM, I did ask a question earlier. Did spend
Sorry.
momentum for that, so
Oh yeah, I forgot to hit enter. Sorry.
I figured that Namdi would go up with Harrison to the ring. Sure, all of us would be going to the ring.
Okay, so who all is going to the medical section in the ring?
Person for sure.
Right.
I mean, I'll go wherever the commander needs me.
Okay. There should be a they gave us records and stuff, right?
All of the databases and everything, they're saying you'll have full access to everything. Most of that is apparently up in the medical complex on the ring.
I see. Nothing on the planet worth looking into.
All they told you was that when you get to the ring, you will have access to all the information, both historic and modern, on the various the Outlander virus, and that the main databases for all of that information are housed on the ring. They didn't offer, and you didn't ask.
Okay. Well, sounds like you really want us to go up to the ring, so I guess we're all going up to the ring.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm just saying that's where the ring, they have the three people in three different stages of the disease behind the quarantine fields, and supposedly their most advanced medical facilities. They said that all the main databases with all the information about the disease, both historically and whatever, were there, and you would be given full access. And you, at that point, you didn't ask to go ahead and get any access. So I just figured, so whatever you want to do, you tell me.
Well, first, so they already gave us the full access, is what you're saying.
You have to go to the ring to get full access.
Right. So, I would like, um, I would like to ask the minister about having or her chiming ahead, letting these people know to let these outsiders have full access to any records on or any records about this disease and the prior plague as well.
Of course, Commander. I will let them know you're coming, and of course, CEO Thalathan here, and she kind of seems like she glances significantly at her, but you can't really tell because she's wearing stuff on her head.
Right.
And CEO Thalathan here will, of course, be joining you and will be fully cooperative.
I'd
And
also like
Thalathan kind of half bows and says, "Of course, Regent."
I'd also like information on Immunocorp, if that's all right with you, Thalassa.
Thalathan says, "Of course, we'll be happy to provide you information on our company."
Yes. Anything you can tell me about the company, its founding, as well as prior projects and whatnot.
Has the disease displayed any signs in your animal population?
Thalassan says, "While my medical personnel will be able to give you a better overview of the disease's progression, as far as I am aware, there have been no cases of Fostarian to animal transmission, or vice versa."
And I suppose this is as good a place as any to ask this question. But have there been any issues so far with civil unrest?
The Zamaline says, "Unfortunately, some, but they have been very minor. We are, by and large, a law-abiding people, but faced with this kind of situation, some people become afraid, and scared people often do very stupid things, to put it bluntly."
Indeed. It's reopening an old wound.
Indeed, and of course, our resources are stretched thin. However, thus far there have been no incidents of violence. There have been some protests urging the government to do more, but we are doing all we can, up to and including sending distress calls out into the universe. But I wish I could tell you that our people have, all of them, shown tremendous courage and grace. The vast majority, yes, but there have been some minor incidents.
Right.
Hmm. That is unfortunate. And will be, or are we to be? We'll be safe on board or on the ring, correct?
Thalassan says, "I can assure you, Commander, there will be no such trouble as that on the ring. My people are dedicated and professional."
Or health-wise, is there gamma radiation aboard the ring?
She says, "No, not aboard the ring compartments. The photonic emitters are focused on the planet below. The living and corporate facilities are all on the outer side of the ring."
Presumably properly shielded.
She says in a very kind of cold voice, "That goes without saying."
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's make our way up.
Okay.
Making our way downtown.
So is everyone going to the medical facility?
Seems that way.
Okay.
I'm getting as much information from Thalassan as I can about the history of.
Oh, she does not go with you. She
Oh.
she separates from you in the hallway without a word and goes down a completely different corridor.
Oh, I'm following her then, so I can converse with her about the company.
She stops, turns to you, and says, "I will meet you aboard the ring. Good day," and turns and continues walking.
Rude.
Not entirely what I didn't anticipate. So she seems about what we would expect from people who like to keep their privacy to themselves.
Baker just shrugs and says, "I'm used to it. After all, I'm an albatross." All right, let's go.
There. How long ago did she say when was it before the Vulcans arrived that they got this plague?
200 years.
Yeah.
So this would explain their isolationism.
This would explain why they were
Also,
really hostile to the Vulcans at any rate.
All right. Seize the day. Let's do this.
Okie dokie. So, you guys to the lab. Let me get the rest of you here. Harrison, Olos, Osborne, American, empty. Okay. I think you are all aboard now. Forgive the kind of partial map. I was making it quick yesterday.
It's fine.
So you are directed by the ring control. You kind of go around out from under it and kind of into orbit, and then back to dock with the outer side, the outside part of the ring. You're led into. You're met at the door by this man who introduces himself as Dr. Ratathan. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to need all the help we can get. I don't mind telling you, we're something. We're slightly stumped.
My crew and I are here to help.
So he leads you through some corridors from the docking area. This is a very very high tech, very modern facility. In many ways, as advanced or more so as anything any of you have seen in any of the Federation species. Leads you to a lab. The door is a heavy security style door. It is flanked by two what appear to be company guards. They're at least they're wearing full helmet kind of visor things and appear to be armed with some sort of energy pistols. They have uniforms with this logo, which basically is a stylized planet with a ring around it, which you've seen kind of on the walls and on everybody's uniforms. You notice that everyone here is still wearing radiation visors. And again, here, especially, the vast majority of the ones you see are kind of decorated. They've got filigree and they definitely appear to be as much fashion statement as necessary protection gear.
Fancy.
And he leads you into he leads you into the lab.
Yep.
And let me come on, roll 20.
I leave this to the science officer and the doctor. God, it's like everybody's wearing an 80s visor.
Oh.
Cyberpunk visor.
Well, I didn't bother creating 14 different civilians.
No, that's totally all right. It's
So yeah, you guys can move into the room wherever you want. Very advanced medical equipment. Each of these panels appears to be dedicated to the readouts and information on the patient that it is roughly in front of. Down here, this area, these green things, these are transparent fields of some kind, where you can pretty much, fairly clearly see this room. There are also video monitors showing the areas that you can't see visibly. So there's no real blind spot except for the facilities over here, which don't appear to be covered by any video equipment. There is
didn't we get momentum from the last few rolls?
last roll you made was the
Opposed roll thing.
right. So you should have 2 momentum. My bad.
Just in case somebody needs it here. I'm not going to be of much use in this environment.
Okay. So Dr. Talassen says, so we have patients in 3 stages. So you see all of them, the readouts you can tell pretty quickly are showing high fevers, even though you're not immediately familiar with the well, give me an inside medicine difficulty 2.
The increased difficulty from a species I'm unfamiliar with is not applied since I have a study.
Yeah, that so it's down to 1.
Medicine.
Yeah, so did she, Merrick.
Medicine, advanced medical research is a focus.
Yeah. Okay, so you get 2 momentum. Yeah, you're able to suss out the medical readouts pretty quickly. All of them have high temperatures. Their skin, which is basically the standard range of hues for most humanoid species, these are your, put on a prosthetic apparatus, Starfleet alien, Star Trek aliens. They have patches of discolored skin. It's not really quite a rash. It's kind of this thickly reddish purple looking blotches appearing. Just a few apparent on the they go from best to worst. This person's in best shape. This person is in worse shape. As this person has very few, this person is almost covered by these blotches. All of them appear to be on some sort of pain medication, with increasing dosage levels as you go across from least effective to most effective. The Dr. Ratassin says, you have complete access to all of our medical databases from this console here. And of course, the patient's histories are all available through the monitoring consoles. Technician Shala there is at our holographic control console. Should you need to take any samples from the patients, or if there are any emergencies requiring direct intervention, our holographic capabilities allow us to aid the patients and do such work without having to enter the quarantine area. The controls are fairly intuitive. We'll be happy to show you and your people exactly how to use them.
Very well. I think I'll do some research first. I want to see if I can pull up the worst patient's file and compare it to patient from last time that they had the plague, and see if their final stages were similar. See how far this has advanced. The 200 years.
Okay. Give me, this is going to be reason medicine, difficulty 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's medical research as a focus.
Yeah.
I will use a momentum for a die.
So you were wanting to compare current virus with previous virus, basically?
I want to compare their late stages.
Okay. Are you talking about symptomatically or the virus itself?
Let's go with symptomatically.
Okay. Forgive any misspellings.
Okay, so the virus hasn't changed much in the last 200 years. It's become from what I can already reason, it's just become immune to its current treatment.
Symptomatically, that appears to be the case.
To do further research in order to really find a cause for the virus. In so doing, find a reasonable cure for it.
And as you are working, the Lawson arrives. She just kind of brushes by Osborne. Osborne, you notice that the two guards, as soon as they see her coming, they just, they were already, they were standing ready, but, kind of at ease position. But they immediately, as soon as she comes in a door down the hallway, they snap to. And one of them reaches over and keys the pad for her, so she doesn't even have to do that, as she kind of just sweeps into the medical facility. I trust you people are finding everything that you need.
Yes.
For the most part, I'm still doing research on the virus itself. Symptomatically, they are identical. I'm trying to determine before I can up with a cure is how the radiation that you have used for the last 200 years to repress the disease has mutated it.
The doctor comes up and punches up on a screen beside you. Says, "This is the genetic sequencing of the virus from 200 years ago. Unfortunately, due to the technology of the time, it is somewhat incomplete in places, but it gives you a decent look at the structure itself. We have yet to culture and sequence the virus from our patients. We just set this up a couple of days ago.
You know if this sequence is from a later stage, because that could give us more detailed look at it if we also use the advanced stage patient that we have here.
Well, this is the actual virus itself. This is the genetic sequence of the virus. So yeah, the in first stage or late stage, I mean, this is the critter. Yeah, from 200 years ago.
So as soon as possible, get the current DNA sequence for the virus so that we can compare them.
Okay. So basically, Harrison, what we're at now is a gated challenge. This is going to be the first thing basically there's some key tasks, 3, I think. So first thing you've got to do is isolate the virus, the live virus sample from one or more of the patients. And yeah, isolating and first you've got to isolate and sequence the virus. This is going to require a reason, medicine, or science with a difficulty of 2. Now you're going to have to use the holographic controls for that. You can have one of these guys do it, but I will tell you that their medicine scores are not as good as yours.
Don't have any way of decreasing difficulty or making it easier for myself.
So, and the holographic rig is very much what we would think of as a VR kind of rig. You have a basically a helmet that goes over your head, and then sensor glove, and you're able to, very pretty intuitively, move around, and you're seeing as if you're in the room. It's a little bit vertiginous at first, but it honestly doesn't take long to get used to. And the rest of you see in this area it's not detailed. We're not talking about like EMH level detail. It is, pretty much kind of a humanoid, low res. It does appear to have the suggestion of a visor over its face. So if you want to give me that roll, reason, science, or medicine difficulty 2.
Use medicine with advanced medical research as a focus.
Sure.
Okay. Going to use threat for another die.
All right.
And I will buy off the comp.
Okay. So gain 1 momentum from that, and I'll send you what you learn. So this is taking some time. So doctor, I'm going to give you these results. Then I'm going to step away really quickly for a quick bio break, and then we're going to move to some different conversations. I'll be right back.
Okay.
We actually have 2 doctors on this ship.
Anybody close to where Harrison is working will hear him mutter, "This is similar to Achilles fever, or easier to treat." Interesting.
Wait, this one's more easier to treat, or
Whereas Achilles fever requires rare materials that are difficult to synthesize to produce the vaccine, the Outlander virus should respond to conventional antiviral medications.
All right. So getting that information is taking a while because you're sequencing the virus and all that kind of stuff. So in the meanwhile, while all that's going on, Valestra is talking to Baker. I understand you wanted some information about Immunicorp.
yes, I'd like to know company's history, past past diseases you've worked to cure. Anything interesting you can let me know? I'm curious.
Of course. Well, when we first encountered the Outlander virus 200 years ago, Immunicorp was, even at that point, we were the largest pharmaceutical and medical research company on Fosteria. As the plague hit the planet, we researched it thoroughly, but were unable to discover any antiviral that had any effect whatsoever on the virus. But we did discover that gamma radiation, a certain level of gamma radiation, appeared to kill the virus, although now it appears that it actually just made it go dormant somehow. While this requires everyone on the planet to take regular supplements of anti-radiation medications, and originally to wear visors and protective clothing, although these days, unless one is outside the domes themselves provide protection from the more immediately visual and skin damaging effects. The visors have become more of a habit and fashion accessory, as I'm sure you have noticed. So in order to effectively deliver the treatment to the planetary surface, we used what space capability we had at the time to construct the ring. We used up most of our system's asteroid field, as well as mining some of the Kuiper and Oort clouds to produce the material to build the ring. And for 200 years, we have bombarded the planet and taken what precautions were necessary. The domes down the planet are also in the Immunicorp construction project to ensure the livelihoods and continued survival of our people right up until this new variant or whatever of the virus has appeared.
And your people have made no efforts to colonize other worlds?
This disease was brought to us by contact with aliens. It was decided long ago that we were better off isolating ourselves. And Fosteria is home. We have no need to go anywhere else, and it is far too risky.
Osborne nods.
It's understandable and it's scary taking that first step out into the great unknown. But eventually you'll find a place that's not so steeped in radiation and this virus. I'm
Commander,
confident.
we can live with the radiation. When we went out into space, we brought back a plague that wiped out almost 3/4 of our planetary population. You can understand why our people became a bit leery of dealing with outsiders. Now, I know that perhaps I have not given you as fair of a shake as I could, and I apologize for that. But if you think my reaction is extreme, you may be surprised about the aversion to you that some of our less scientifically inclined and educated populace might show. The fear of the outsider and the anger at outsiders long lived.
Believe me, that we as human beings have also encountered similar things in our own history on planet Earth. Is the fear of the other, of the unknown, and we even irradiated our planet at one point a couple centuries ago.
As
And
you're speaking, the door opens up and the security guard, one of the security guards comes in. Merrick, if you're out in the hallway, you see one, kind of tilt his head and kind of automatically put his hand up to his ear as if he's hearing something, and then goes through the door. Pardon me, Madam Talathan. There is an emergency communication from the planetary regent. She's asking to speak to the outsiders. She nods. Thank you. We'll take it here, Commander. And this is kind of a display table, and she pushes up some buttons, and you see the regent appear in a holographic projection above the table. Commander, I hope you're having some luck up there, but unfortunately, I have an emergency situation that has arisen that I'm hoping you might be willing to help us with.
of course, Minister Zameline, what's the problem?
When the virus first broke out on Beta Continent, a water treatment facility near the city of Heldrenar evacuated its personnel when the virus first began to bloom. Unfortunately, since then, the plant has shut down operations for reasons unknown. The water processing plant, fundamentally beyond normal water purification, also de-irradiated the water supply for the city. With the plant failing, at this point, the city is starting to receive irradiated water supplies, and as I'm sure you're no doubt aware, that could be disastrous, particularly when combined with the disease. I don't have the engineering personnel to take care of this. I'm spread thin throughout the planet. I was hoping that perhaps you could send some of your people to see if they could identify and solve the problem.
Certainly, I'll send a couple people over to take care of that.
Thank you, Commander. And this is a region where there has been some of those protests I've spoken with you about. Again, it's been nothing violent, but your people should be aware. We will be eternally in your debt, and getting the water processing plant back up and running will save thousands of lives.
Yes, of course. Well, I'll send someone over right away.
I'm sending you the coordinates now. Again, thank you. She cuts the communication.
All right.
So, who are we going to have handle this, Commander?
Oh, I can't think of anybody better but our chief engineer.
I'll go get him. Osborne walks over to its Ulos.
Right.
Ulos. We need you. Situations come up.
Situation.
Yes. Something on the planet's surface regarding a water treatment plant that's failing. Your skill set would probably be much better served saving a city from drinking irradiated water than up here.
Agreed. That sounds fantastic.
Right this way. And he's gonna walk back over to Baker.
You know what you have to do, Lieutenant? Lieutenant Commander Savell? Or say?
Say. You there?
Hey, what?
Said, you know what you have to do, Lieutenant Commander?
Yes, I identified the cause of the issue with their water treatment, get it back up and running, removing the radiation from the water supply.
Right. I'm gonna send Chief Security Osborne with you.
Might it also be a good idea to bring Lieutenant Merrick along? If we're really going into the heart of a protest zone, having someone who can deal with the local, who can understand the locals might be a benefit.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. I could come along as well, but
Well, someone still needs to head up the operation up here.
yes, I still need to oversee things over here.
I'll be in touch.
Of
Okay.
course.
So Merrick, Osborne, and Olos are heading. Are
Planet
going to go down
side.
to. Okay, who's flying?
My control con is 12. What's yours, Olos?
Icon and
Control
is 13.
Okay, better than mine. And Merrick?
Okay.
So
you guys can figure out which one are you just going to fly. We'll catch up with you in the next scene coming up shortly.
I'll roll for the shuttle.
Okay. So now, Harrison, you've finished sequencing the virus. So you can go ahead and the next step is going to be comparing the genome you've just sequenced with the previous pandemic viral genome that you looked up earlier. Oh, no, you didn't look up the genome, but that's
Just have to
in there.
over the two.
Right.
The civilians next to me here pulled up the
Yeah.
this virus.
So to run a comparison, because even for a virus, the genetic sequence isn't super simple or short. This is going to be reason science or engineering with a difficulty of 2.
Science on that one. I suppose advanced medical research would help.
Not really in this case. Well, actually, yeah, it would. It fits perfectly.
I give you a threat for a die.
I will take it.
And I have to buy. I would need to buy off that comp. I want to miss anything with this.
Okay, so that'll be 2 momentum.
Because what was the difficulty?
Difficulty was 2, so you got it, and you gained the momentum. So, but to buy off the comp 2.
Oh. We only had to spend 1 in excess.
Okay. Send you the information you gained from that doctor.
I'm not saying it to anyone in particular, but suspicions were correct. The virus did develop an immunity to the radiation over the last 200 years. Unfortunately, for a quick fix for the virus, we're missing several key genetic sequences from the hive.
Do you think you can retrieve them?
This is a 200-year-old archive, Commander.
Do you think you can extrapolate?
You can attempt to, but you can't guarantee a 100% match on it.
Wait, do you actually, Olos?
Yes, I do.
Nice.
That's why I was kind of thrown off for a second. I was like, "Oh shit, this again." If it makes you feel any better, I know all the stuff tech for.
Okay, as you're reporting your results, there is a sudden alert sound from the console of the the worst patient, and you see some emergency lights going off on his monitors down below.
Harrison,
There's not much I can do. Doctor,
We need to get him stabilized.
alright, I'll do what I can for him.
you're in an EVA suit. You should be fine.
Well, you can use the
I
holographic.
don't recommend going in there regardless, Commander. The virus could attach itself to the EVA suit, and I would bring it out with me.
Well, you could use the holographic thing to
That's
get
what
the samples.
What I was going to do.
Okay.
I'm not.
So,
I'm gonna use every safe precaution that they have set up.
oh yeah. So yeah, you're not even going in there. It's all a holographic thing. Moves him over here. Fundamentally, he's going into cardiac arrest. It would be daring medicine difficulty 1 to stabilize him.
Emergency medicine as a focus.
Oh yes.
And
All right, you get 2 momentum. However, there are the biochemical readings after you stabilized him are showing anomalies.
all right. And I do a check to see if I can identify the anomalies.
Sure. It's a give me control medicine difficulty 2.
Difficulty 2. I don't believe I have anything that would apply for focuses. Nearest would probably be advanced medical research, but I don't know about that.
You're not really doing research
Yeah.
right now at the point, but
I don't have anything else.
actually make this an insight medicine difficulty 2. If he's hooked up to all sorts of diagnostics, you're just interpreting what they're showing you.
Let's go with a momentum spend to get another die.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can succeed at cost if you want, which will put a complication on the board. But
I want all the information I can get, so you're
Okay.
called.
Okay. So it appears that something is causing is causing his blood to rapidly thin.
He's just gonna, he's not really saying it to anybody in particular. Is there any cases this virus where the blood of the patient begins to rapidly thin?
I haven't heard of any.
This is either a new symptom or pre-existing condition of this patient.
He goes over to the patient was perfectly healthy before the virus. No pre-existing conditions are in his medical record.
Is there anything in his family history that could explain this?
Checking. No, some high cholesterol, high blood pressure, but nothing. No heart conditions. No evidence of clots or thinning.
Doesn't bode well that this could be a new symptom. Keep an eye on the other two patients and
Should we
inform your medical teams on the planet to keep an eye out for this.
should we draw another sample and reculture?
In this patient, yes.
Okay, so I'm not making a roll again for that. You draw it. Yes, it appears pretty quickly and evidently that the virus has mutated in this patient.
Virus is beginning to mutate, where it's developing new symptoms.
Well, that's not good.
No. Initial thought was that this virus was similar to an Achilles fever, which we could treat quite easily. It's just our conventional antivirals, but
This is going to make it more difficult to treat.
Yeah, if it's developing this kind of symptoms now, it's going to be.
And you have reached the point for the third and final key task of the gated challenge is developing a treatment. This is going to be a reason medicine task. Because of the new mutation, it is difficulty 4.
Feel free to use all the momentum.
I'm going to use all the momentum. Gets me up to 4 die. Have advanced medical research as a focus.
Any values you can pop on this one?
Let's see. Yes, I do. Every problem has a solution.
Sure. You going to spend it for an automatic crit?
Okay. You're gonna have the threat.
Okay.
And
So that's 4. You've made it, but there is a complication on the board. Don't, unless you've got veteran to try and get your determination back to reroll, I don't know that you have a way. So, all right, but I have the complication in mind. If
can't buy it
So-
off, we have no momentum.
so, okay. Let me send you. just a second to get this over to you.
Oh no.
Spend
Harrison, what did you
everything-
do?
Spend everything to develop a treatment. Stomp. All of my momentum. I gave reduced threat, and I earned a value to determination.
Okay, and the complication result is included in what I'm sending you.
Yeah, found it.
And with that, we are going to change scenes.
Yeah,
and
it
catch
was-
up with our
Oh, boy.
friends in theater of the mind. Okay, so I think that was Olos, Osborne, and Merrick. Yeah, if somebody wants to give me a control con difficulty 1, assisted by shuttles engines con.
Have you guys decided which of you is going to do that?
Is anyone higher than 13?
Nope.
We're both 13, so
I can do it.
I'll roll for the shuttle.
The difficulty 1.
Yeah. No bad weather or anything like that. So
Yeah, we gain a momentum.
it's okay. You make it down fine. There is like a parking lot / landing field area that you land the shuttle in very easily. If you scroll back out, you'll see some basic lines on a map. This appears to be the main building for the water treatment plant. There are smaller buildings here and what appear to be, some sort of machinery. There is off of the map, but to the right behind this building, there is a large reservoir of water. Looks like just maybe this is the treatment machinery, and this is also maybe the main building for the water treatment plant. So yeah, you've landed safely.
Right, I guess we're going to exit the shuttlecraft.
Should be able to move your tokens.
Okay, what do we see when we arrive at the entrance to this place?
This is
Jesus.
Hmm?
do what? Oh, this is, you come up the entrance. It's glass doors that slide apart. There are, this is your standard kind of functional utilities reception area. There's no one here. There's a couple of small offices and whatever, but pretty quickly you're able to kind of determine that there's a control room here, a couple of floors up, which is this box here. A lot of part of the building, it's like half and half administrative and actual machine shops and mechanical physical plant kind of stuff. There's labs to test water supplies and all this, but it looks like the primary control room for the facility is that smaller box within a box there. Because the GM ran out of map time.
Does there appear to be anybody around?
Not that you can see. You were told that this facility was evacuated when the plague hit this continent.
Is anything still running, or is everything sort of shut down?
There's still power going. However, there's not as much noise coming from the pumps and treatment facilities as you would expect. So, I mean, it's not that there's no power here. Something's been shut off or has broken or something. Are you guys going to try and go up to the control room, or?
Yeah, that's probably the first place I want to head.
Okay. So yeah, that's up here. You make your way through the building. You don't see anyone. There's several locked doors. The place seems to have been, evacuated, but not in a hurry. In other words, things were, put up properly, locked down properly. The door to the control room is locked. If you want to try and get through it, you can do a control security difficulty 2 to spring the lock. It is electronic, so.
Oh, this isn't the first. This is not the first time I've cracked an electric lock.
Yeah, security or yeah, security is what it'll do.
Did you say control?
Yes.
Okay. Infiltration focus?
No, not really.
Okay. That works. That's fine. I'm still gonna spend a momentum though. For that sweet reroll.
Yep.
Gonna reroll that comp.
Yep. So yeah, you make it. No momentum gained, but you pry open the panel, move a couple of wires around, and the door comes open.
There we are.
So Olos, give me, or whoever, give me insight engineering difficulty 2. This room is full of control panels, readout, various. It looks like a control center, banks of screens and controls and monitor stations. Yes, insight engineering difficulty 2. Yeah, you're kind of having some difficulties making heads or tails of these readouts.
can I assist with this?
Sure. Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you and Merrick working together, this is some kind of technical abbreviations of the standard language, which the universal translator is having a little difficulty with, but with Merrick's help, you kind of suss it out. And I will send you some information. Is your actual Discord handle? That's what you're learning from the readouts.
Okay. Looks like these pumps channel water from membrane that neutralizes the radiation. Once it passes through, it's safe to consume. It has to be replaced regularly for it to work. The main computer shut it down because it sensed that the one in place has worn out.
Has it worn out?
Are you asking the question?
Well, in character, yes. Out of
Okay.
character, no.
I'm not sure if it's worn out, although it couldn't hurt to replace. Membrane something that's stored in the facility.
Yeah, the membranes is in this facility over here. I'm pinging on the one that's at the far right of the map, the other building. It does appear that there are membranes ready. I mean, there's a supply of fresh membranes. I mean, basically, you're changing filters.
Yeah.
Is what it breaks down to, and to do that, you'll need to go to this other building where the main pump machinery and everything is, and figure out exactly how to change the pumps, change the filters.
Right, so our first task is going to be to change the filter and try to restore pressure if that's possible.
Right.
I'm going to want to go there.
Okay. So yeah, this is definitely a purely. There's no offices. This is where the real machinery and computers and everything that actually do the work of the water treatment plant are. So yeah, it looks like it's fairly automated from here. What you're going to need to do is run a membrane replacement subroutine on these systems, and it should take care of it automatically. So to do that is a control or reason engineering difficulty 2.
Do control and engineering. Gee.
So yeah, you're not having a lot of luck getting this program, this algorithm up and running. Osborne and Merrick, are you hanging back at the main building, or are you heading over with them?
I'm going with these guys.
I suppose so. Do you need any help, Commander?
Is there a manual override? Is there a manual way to do it?
Probably. There usually are in these circumstances.
We're going to try to do it manually then. Don't have any momentum, do we?
No. So to figure out how to do it manually, I'm gonna throw some threat on the board. It's going to be
Awesome.
insight engineering or insight science, difficulty 3.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
Yeah, I mean, you find where the filters are stored and all this, but you're not familiar with this equipment or the design necessarily. So you're not immediately able to figure out how to manually change the filters.
Ah, crap.
Do you wish for me to take a crack at the automation portion, Commander, or?
If you'd like to see if you can figure out their language a little bit better, that would probably be good.
So yeah, to same roll, reason or control plus engineering difficulty 2, Merrick.
I don't think Xenolocus 6 would apply here, so take a threat.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Merrick walks up to the control panel, looks over things for a second, and then her fingers kind of tap across the touch screen, and all of a sudden, with a kind of big thump, all this machinery comes alive. You see from you're kind of got the door open to the storage facility for the membranes, and you see a machine reach out and kind of almost like loading a magazine, load up several different membranes, and then you hear various thunks and machinery. It's very loud in here now, but the thing seems to be operating. Merrick, you see the exchange process going on. Apparently the used membranes are being transshipped to someplace. Basically that's recycling.
Neat.
Oh yeah,
America, I do have help.
yeah. This syntax here is the translators are having trouble with it. I'll have to update that when we get back to the ship if we make it out here alive.
We should probably head back to the control room and see if anything is reading out abnormal.
Of course, Commander.
Okay, as you step out of the building, let me get on the right layer. You see 6 people rather, have kind of crowded around the shuttlecraft. These are all Fostarians. They all have the masks and stuff. Look over there. Hello.
Hmm.
And they start kind of running over towards you. Everyone can give me a insight security or insight medicine. That's what I want.
Okay. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty 1.
Okay.
Okay. So you all notice that each of these people in different places, either an arm or a neck, face somewhere, have those discolored splotches, similar to in size and number. You roughly estimate to the people that were in the lower end, like early stage of the disease. They come over. Oh, thank God! Come. We're running out of food. We haven't had clean water for days.
We're in the process of getting the plant back on. So if you could stay back.
You've got to get us out of here. The plague is everywhere. Please, just take us with you. We'll go into isolation, whatever you need, but we can't stay here anymore.
I assure you, everything will be fine. We are working on the situation. Potentially, we have possibly a way to help with this illness.
You've got a cure?
No,
you've got a cure. You've got to give it to us.
We don't have
please,
a cure.
Give us a cure.
We're
Run.
working
My
on
brothers are
it.
dead.
I immediately grab. I'm going to immediately grab the arms of Olas and Merrick, and we are going to. I'm going to try and pull them off this way.
Okay.
Because I am now realizing what this is. This is a desperate mob.
Okay, so Olos, one of them lunges at you. This is going to be daring security opposed. But I have all this lovely threat.
Lovely threat.
Security. There you go. So you rolled a 2.
Oh boy. Though, would this be a grapple?
He's trying to grab.
Ah, that's fitness.
That's actually a little bit better for him. Let me see if it made any difference. Nope, same roll.
Roll.
Yeah, you need to roll. It's opposed, so roll daring security. They got a 2. Our fitness. Well, is it daring security to avoid being grappled, or would you roll fit?
No, it's fitness security opposed.
Okay, fitness security then.
Yeah, it's one of the few things they added, like that they actually added in the operations book, is a couple new combat things you can do, and grappling is one of them.
Oh damn it! I have to read more.
Difficulty 2.
I would not blame you. It is literally a single sidebar in the operations book.
It's also in the core book.
Yeah, Olos, it's opposed, so you need to equal or better a 2. Is that right? Or I mean, I know he needs bettering it would be better, but equal is
equal to or by 1.
Yeah, equal to or better. So you need to roll 2 or better.
And difficulty is there difficulty on this?
No, it's an opposed roll, so they've got 2. You're trying to equal or beat 2. So yeah, your minimum success is 2.
Okay.
Fitness security. Oh no. Oh no.
Ugh.
Okay,
This is a happy GM right now.
so Olos, this guy grapples Olos, and you kind of like jerk away, and he's still got a partial hold of you, but he also managed to grab one of the hoses running from the pack to the back of your helmet, and it pulled off, exposing you to the atmosphere. Roll me a challenge die. Yeah, you got to click out or press enter after you put the number of dice in,
Void.
because Roll20
Sorry.
sheets suck.
You rolled
Bad all.
void.
Okay. So yeah, I mean you're not you're not injured, but and you're not like suffocating because the atmosphere is breathable, but you have been exposed to theoretically the virus.
So radiation. Or are we in a dome?
You're not under a dome, but as far as the radiation goes, your suit's still providing protection. But the more threatening thing right now is you're
Good
breathing
exposure.
unfiltered. Yeah, you're breathing air for viral exposure. You guys do know the virus is airborne.
I'm assuming we're in combat, right?
Yes, you're in combat, so now it's your guys' go.
Oh boy, how do we want to do this?
I can attempt to diffuse the tension because I did kind of start this. Or we make a run for the shuttle.
I'm gonna go with try to push through them and get to the shuttle quickly as possible.
Okay, so who is going?
I have an idea. I'm probably the fastest runner, so I'm gonna lead them off.
You're going to. Are you talking about leading the civilians off, or?
Yes, I'm gonna book it and see if they take the bait.
Okay. Which way are you taking off? And are you doing a sprint path?
Yeah. So, actually, wait, is there the
Now the door is still right behind you guys, so there is an option to go back into the building, and if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think instead, no, I'm gonna hang on, snapped a corner. I'm gonna run this way.
Sorry, show me that again.
This away. Which gives them a chance to run this away.
We could use the transporter too.
Right.
But
we could. I'm just saying.
The problem is though we will infect the ship.
Yeah. So I want to try to avoid that.
There's no
Okay.
transporter.
So are you you're doing a sprint task?
Yep.
Okay, so that's fitness security difficulty 0.
Yeah, and it generates momentum, and then I spend it to determine how far I run, I think.
You move one zone.
And then an additional per momentum.
Yep.
Repeatable.
Fitness security, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god!
Well, I mean, you gain a momentum and you succeed.
Gonna spend that momentum to get an extra zone because I get a bad feeling I'm gonna need it.
Okay. All right. The complication is that you run like hell, but you trip over an uneven bit in the pavement that you don't see because you're kind of looking behind you to see what these guys are doing. I'll put you about there. You go down, and your suit, the arm of your suit, is punctured. Roll me a challenge die.
Yay! Time for me to get sick. Right.
Okie dokie. Let me see what these guys do. I've already got them pulled up.
I tried to make a big show out of that.
Right. Up their complication, so because they're scared.
Oh my god.
So yeah, half of them take off after Osborne, and the other half do not. So
What do those complications do?
the complications keep them from moving as fast as they should have. They're kind of surprised, so you're leading them.
Okay. That's fine. I was just curious.
Yeah. So okay, unless you guys, I don't think you have any, unless you've got quick to action or something and want to keep the momentum, the initiative.
Well, I mean, technically, those guys shouldn't have been able to go.
Fair enough, but he was trying to draw them off.
Yeah.
So I'll put it to you this way: these three are turning to follow him.
Okay.
These three are not.
We have no way to keep the initiative, so
Okay.
unless Osborne has quick to action.
Okay. Now it's back to us.
And these three are kind of pressing in closer to you guys. Please just take us with you. Look, we don't want to cause any trouble. We just, you got to get us out of here. People are dying.
Look, is it back to us?
Yes.
Look, you have to go back into a quarantine. We can't help you right now, but I promise you, we will help you. So please, if you follow like the instructions of the government, we will be able to assist you in a timely manner and get you food. But we need to contact our ship for that first. If you please just let us contact people, we'll get you aid. We can get supplies down here and get you food and get you help taken care of. And I'm tempted to kind of get them to back
Okay,
off.
so give me presence command, and you said you have diffused the tension.
No, that's a phrase. I'm diffusing the tension, so I don't have that ability.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
Captain Grennan does. It's nice when I get to use it.
So
in his trials.
I'm going to spend my determination here.
Okay.
Nothing better than practical experience, because this is definitely
That's pretty much it, yeah.
it's command presence.
Yeah, presence command.
gonna roll flat. 5.
Nice. These guys. Give them So yeah, they kind of, they kind of listen intensely, and they kind of, they step back a little bit and go, okay, we're so sorry. We're just, we're so hungry, and so many people, my family's they're dead. But they've kind of calmed down and given you some room.
Do we get any momentum off that?
Yeah. The highest they rolled was 2, so you get 3.
Of course. Just let me call up to the ship, and we'll get some supplies down here for you.
Okay. That's kind of the end of the round. So Osborne and Olos each roll me 1 challenge die.
Oh no. Well, we're doing this.
Hmm?
Oh no.
And Olos roll me 1 challenge die.
Oh no.
Okay, so Olos and Merrick are out of combat. Osborne, you're running and being chased by 3 people.
Yep.
So you're technically still in combat. This would go back to you guys, so it's your go.
Gonna make a I'm gonna continue. Well, I guess the thing is I need to completely outrun them in order to give Merrick and Olos a chance to get back to the shuttle.
Okay.
So I'm gonna keep on running. Can I use my value protect the innocent?
Sure.
Keep on running.
Yeah, just give me a fitness security roll. We'll do it opposed and just do one and kind of,
Yeah.
probably settle it here.
Yeah, because this is a chase. I'm gonna spend 2 momentum to get a 3rd die.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the chase rules off the top of my head. If anybody,
I don't think there are any.
Okay.
There are not. You just keep fitness security rolls until you lose
The end of
them.
time. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Keep rolling if someone falls on their face.
That's 5.
Okay. I don't think that's going to be. Oops. Wrong character. Security. Yeah. So you duck around the side of the building and lose them, and you wind up looping your way back, kind of over here.
And I was gonna say we gain a bunch of momentum out of that.
Yeah. You get what'd you do? 5 total. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you gain 4. So you've got a bunch of float. Oddly though, because you're a pretty fit guy. You run regularly and everything. You're chief of security, but man, you got the stitch in your side that's just, man, it's just killing you. And you're a lot sweatier and hotter than you would expect to be. I mean, yeah, granted you're running pretty hard, but I mean you weren't running that hard.
And have Olos and Merrick made their way back yet?
Yeah.
I was still talking to him, but
Oh, sorry.
I was staying nearby to so that they understand that I'm trying to help them and
Okay.
not.
So are you okay? So you're gonna contact the ship from there, huh?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell Olos to go to the shuttle because
Okay. So as you tell him that, Olos, suddenly you feel like somebody's just stabbed you in the gut, and you just kind of double over in this sharp spike of pain, and you're feeling kind of warm. Like you're sweating in your suit, although the suit's climate control appears to be working fine.
Have I been struck by something, or is this?
No.
This has to do with your hose being yanked out.
You're breathing the air where there's a deadly virus in. So
It's fast acting.
Okay, so
Lieutenant Merrick to Aurora.
Aurora here. This is Lieutenant Richardson.
Lieutenant, I need a emergency ration supply beamed down to near where the shuttle pod is at.
1 second. Yes, I have your coordinates, Commander. Food and water both.
Well, thank you for the compliment, but I'm still on the same rank as
sorry.
you.
Lieutenant.
Yes, food and water.
For how many people?
Emergency supplies for a small team. At least for 40 people for 3 days.
Understood. It will take a couple minutes to get everything on the pad and beam down, but it's on its way.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Aurora out.
I hope I'm not overstating. If you don't mind, you can wait over here and should be down here in a few minutes, and you'll be able to ration some of the supplies out steadily to people who,
And then in a very few moments, I don't actually know if I have a transporter sounds loaded up.
If not, I could probably find you one.
Well, I can find one. I just hadn't uploaded it yet. So in the screeching whine, a pile of supplies, emergency supplies, materializes. I'm assuming you guys can see that.
Yes.
Okay.
Very well.
By the time this happens, though, Olos, Osborne, the pain you're feeling hasn't really gone away. It's kind of shifted to some joints now, and by turns, you're freezing and burning up.
I will guide them to it and start, handing out appropriate supplies.
Currently, both of you guys have gained the infected trait.
Yep.
Does that count as an injury for them?
No, not at this point.
They're just entering the early stages of the.
Unfortunately, I don't know this, but unless they say something, so.
Right. So, yes, you've managed to calm the crowd. They're, they immediately bust open some water and some, space age MREs, and once they've kind of, flaked their first stuff, they start, gathering stuff into the supplies come with, packed and stuff to carry it, and they start to collect it. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. My question is, do they look at all surprised that we don't look like them?
Well, fundamentally, you're all humanoids. They've kind of looked at you as, but I mean, you're not wearing visors, but again, you are wearing fully protective suits. So I mean, there's not terribly much visible difference between the two of you. So they haven't had any sort of adverse reaction to the fact that you are, alien. I mean, from what you're looking at these people, unless there's something under the visors, I mean, they look human.
Now
I'm
all
just
they
a
care about
little
is you.
shocked about because Olos is far different from the rest of us.
Oh, true. Yeah, Olos. To this point, they appear to have been far more worried about getting out and getting safety and food. So to this point, they haven't had much of a noticeable reaction.
But yeah, once I noticed that the crowd's like gathering up around the supplies, Commander Olos, are you okay?
I do not feel well, and I'm in a fair amount of pain.
Right. Let's get you into the shuttle pod. See if we can find Chief.
So it's both Olos and Osborne who are infected.
Yeah.
Bad day for our letter O's.
I.
Person's gonna have so much fun when he gets this report.
You think you can walk, Commander?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
can make
not-
it to the shuttle.
Yeah.
Keep that suit on though.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys managed to board the shuttle.
I'm not. I'm gonna check, make sure the
Okay.
water is turned on.
Yeah, the as soon as the filters changed, you heard the big machinery just start, and you go back up into the control room, and yeah, all the equivalent of red lights saying filters need changing are now green, and everything appears to be running again.
And then yeah, I'll head back to the shuttle pod to meet up with the rest of them. Assuming,
Okay.
or at least use the shuttle sensors to look for Osborne if he's not at the shuttle.
Yeah, when you approach back to the shuttle pod, you find Osborne. He's kind of keeping out of sight of the people, but he's kind of leaned up against the shuttle with his hands on his knees, kind of bent over.
Everything all right, Chief?
I'm just short on breath. Oh boy.
Merritt, give me a insight medicine.
Difficulty?
Let's call this difficulty 2.
You know what? I'll spend 3 moments. Seems like this might
Okay.
be important.
Yeah, so you notice under Osborne's left eye, right, the top of his cheekbone, that a reddish bluish discoloration has appeared. It's small, but it looks exactly like those that were on the people you just gave food to and on the patient in orbit. And you also notice the torn hole in his the puncture hole in the sleeve of his suit.
Okay. I'm assuming Olos joined us. He's still over by the. Chief, when you get a moment to catch your breath, help the commander into the shuttle pod. I'll be in there shortly. Step aside and do a private conversation to the commander.
Okay.
Lieutenant Merrick to Commander Baker.
Commander, your communicator bleeps.
Yep, I open the communicator. This is Baker.
Commander, we got the water processing plant back up and running. However, it appears that Commander Olos and Chief Osborne are infected. We had a run-in with the civilians. They seem to be starving and potentially dehydrated. So I had the override dispatch some emergency supplies for 40 people for 3 days.
Crap. Of course. You did manage to fix the plant, right?
We did, but they are starving, and there are people still here.
All right.
And they all appear to be infected.
Damn, we can't risk this getting on board the ship. Bring Olos and Osborne back up to the ring, and we can have them treated up here.
More than likely, sir, our suits are contaminated. We would have to follow some sort of decontamination protocol. Unless they have advanced transporters of some kind that we don't, we risk infecting the entire ring.
Initiate decontamination protocols then.
I don't know what their procedures are, sir.
Shuttle them up back to the. I want to say bring them up to the Aurora, but don't want the people on the ship to get infected. If you can shuttle them back up to the ring. The ring is where everything's being treated directly, and therefore they'd have a higher chance of nipping this thing in the bud.
Beside you, Velastra says, I'm not going to allow them to board the ring. It was enough of a process getting these three here safely. We can't risk contamination.
Very well. Send them, Merrick. Send them up to the decon chamber of the Aurora.
I hate to say this, Commander, but it's probably best we just stay in the shuttle pod for the time being until the doctor
Person
can
would be
synthesize a
close
cure.
enough to hear to bring them to the shuttle if when they're infected. I assume.
What was that?
Person be close enough to hear the commander try to get them onto the Aurora.
Yeah, you're in the same room. I'm sure you're hearing that conversation.
Commander, I'm going to have to override that CMO. This infection is too dangerous to be brought aboard the ship in any capacity.
Well, we can't just leave them down there.
Unfortunately, that might have to be the case. We can't bring them on board this ring. And there's no way in hell I'm letting this infection on the Aurora.
And we can't bring them up onto the ring. All right, Merrick, hold the fort down at the shuttle. We'll work on. We'll work on a cure up here.
And Velastra says, and I'll see what I can do to expedite food shipments to Alastra? Peldranar.
Okay.
All right, so we go to the next scene and back to the lab on the ring. So, Doctor, I think when we left, you had just figured some stuff out.
Yes. Immediately after overriding the commanders and to get them onto the ship, he is going to call to the whoever would be the lead researcher on there. I believe I have a solution to your virus problem.
What kind of a solution?
Essentially, I'm going to synthesize a antigen that should be able to evoke an immune response in humanoids that will fight off the disease. It can be administered via hypo spray. However, the antigen will require periodic modification in order to keep up with any mutations in the viral genome.
Periodic periodic adjustments, you say? So it will need to
Yes.
be.
As new symptoms develop in its mutation cycle, you'll have to create a new antigen that also combats them.
And how likely are further mutations, Doctor?
Since this one's spraying up relatively quickly, I'd say highly likely given the amount of gamma radiation in your environment.
Well, it's not a complete cure. It is definitely workable. Immunity Corp can begin processing and synthesizing your antigen immediately, and we have the planetary logistics network to get it spread throughout the planet efficiently. I have to say, I doubted the Regent's decision to call in outside help, but you've done what we have not been able to do, Doctor.
Yes, well, I'm no miracle worker. If this had been different than anything I had treated prior to this, it would have been more complicated for me.
Doctor, give me an insight medicine difficulty 0.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
All right, so you gain 2.
He's just going to flat out say, this is relatively trivial to have treated 200 years ago. It's amazing that you weren't able to find a cure all between then and now.
Well, our medical science was not as up to date as it is. You yourself have seen the gaps in the genomic record from 200 years ago. The radiation was the most effective and quickest treatment that we were able to devise at the time, and until recently, it has served us well.
Well, it seems to not be working quite so well now.
It actually made the virus worse because it has further mutations that this original virus might not have developed if you had not chosen to use radiation.
Well, I can't speak for the generations that came before, but now that we have your antigen, we'll be able to begin the process of, once we get it distributed, we'll be able to shut down the radiation emitters on the ring, and we'll be able to begin the process of not sterilizing, of healing the land and undoing the damage caused by all the radiation. Immunity Corp has the resources and the capability to take on this kind of a project. With the ring, we can get down to any point in the planet we need to. So with your antigen, Doctor, we'll be able to start healing our planet again. And who knows, maybe thanks to the Outworlders help us heal the virus, reaching out into the universe again. And of course, our medical staff will, with the information you've provided, be able to keep up with any mutations that the virus may experience going forward.
Well, I'm just glad that the Federation can help people now with your research. Please try not to judge all outsiders try not to judge all outside species based on the one incident.
Of course. I realize now that perhaps my leap to judgment had been premature. However, it is hard to break generations of, well, I suppose you could call it xenophobia.
I don't know if it happened overnight, but it took humans a long time to overcome our own prejudices against Vulcans.
I understand. And again, thank you. I will communicate news of your success to the planetary region immediately. And she heads out.
Baker claps Harrison on the shoulder. Just, you did well, Doc. You did well, Commander Harrison.
Still find it strange that they were not able to find a cure when it was right in front of their faces.
Strange, yes. Strange, yes, but that is right now. We need to get our people and their people cured.
So with one of the techs comes up. So with your antigen, we won't have to take anti-radiation meds every day?
That is still going to be necessary for the immediate future, but once the radiation comes to a level where it is safe for humanoids to be in, you have to take radiation medication unless you are still showing symptoms of radiation poisoning.
God, that'll be wonderful.
Although we are exchanging radiation medicine for an engine that will be administered periodically as the virus mutates. It may not be as frequent as radiation medication, but it will still be part of your lives for the rest of your lives.
And this other tech comes up, she says, well, but still, I mean, granted that was a sudden and terrible and unexpected mutation, but that's the first one we've seen. So if it's relatively if it's that far between, I mean, that's much better. It says, you bet. I mean, can you imagine, not having to pay those copays? I'll save so much money every month.
Harris is no different. He's given them the information they wanted. Really one for small talk with aliens.
Well, look at it this way: within within a couple generations, you people wouldn't or shouldn't need your planet shouldn't have nearly as much gamma radiation bombarding it, and everybody's safe for people to go outside the domes.
Oh, it'll be even faster than that. I mean, remember, we've been living with gamma radiation for 200 years. We have an incredibly advanced science. Now that once it's no longer necessary to protect us from the virus, we for almost 100 years have had plans in place to try and revitalize the soil and the ecology. We have a genome bank. Yeah, Immunity Corp is perfectly positioned to rebirth, give our planet a new rebirth. Now that we don't have to depend on the radiation, we're prepared for this. It shouldn't. It might even happen in our lifetime, if not ours, then our children's.
I would highly advise you do not take advantage of the people who have less than you do on this. Everybody should be free of this virus. Would you not agree? You wouldn't want to catch it. You wouldn't want to lose or be cured of this virus, only to catch it just just because treatment was denied to people who can't have access to it.
Well, of course, I'm sure that we'll distribute the virus worldwide, and they'll of course we'll have to keep an eye on things and make sure that to be ready to tweak it for any mutations. But
I just Archit. Okay, did you mean to say that distributing the virus, or did you mean to distribute the antigen?
antigen, if I misspoke, that was the GM's fault.
Yeah.
Okay, Olos, thanks for playing.
Just that almost raised a red flag there for a sec.
I mean, right now Harrison's remaining quiet, but the fact that Intel or this corporation is one behind everything is making him very suspicious.
And
the-
thank you, Doctor. This is incredible.
The fact that it is the moment I heard that there was a company called Immunicorp, I was immediately like,
Yeah.
I'm getting some dystopia feels here.
We have complete access to their records, correct?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I mean,
see
well,
how
if you
long
know.
Immunicorp has existed.
I've already looked into that.
Yeah, it's came into existence roughly 50 years before the first plague hit, and was responsible for some major medical breakthroughs at the time. And when the plague hit, it was, as the CEO told Baker, the kind of leading pharmaceutical company on the planet. It also had it had subsidiaries, dealing with mineral extraction and some construction companies and stuff. You're not really used to this kind of capitalist company structure and stuff, so it seems a little weird. But yeah, it exists. It was founded about 50 years before.
Just gonna play off the players' labs and understanding what was going on, as the character was so busy researching that he didn't pay attention to anything else.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you've been studying their medical stuff.
Since they were the leading edge of medical research prior to the plague, it just makes Harrison
right
visibly he was just standing straight. He was the attention. Now his hands are more in front of him, and he's just
right. So do you want to research something else?
Baker's
particularly if I know all that already.
Baker informs Harrison of all that he learned from Thalossan about the company and its history and whatnot.
So yeah, they researched it. Thalossan said they weren't able to find a cure. They discovered the radiation thing. Fortunately, Immunity Corp, according to her, was in the position to be able to construct the ring, and of course provided the anti-radiation medications for the populace.
Every bit of it is just why. And if you can see his face, it's the kind he's got hell is wrong with these people that they took the fast way out of this. Poisoning themselves for the past 200 years. He's not saying anything.
Okay. Are you trying to research anything, or just, beyond what you've just learned, or because basically you just asked about the history of the company?
That's basically what I was going to research, and there's not really anything else I could see as relevant. That was just Harrison wanted to know how long this company has been around. If they were created at the time that the virus bad, that would raise even more red flags.
I mean, to be fair,
Still got red flags from the fact that they were the leading edge of their medicine and they couldn't figure out
Right.
anything other than poison themselves.
right, and I mean, now the company got super huge and powerful, having developed the radiation cure, the med, and building the ring. I mean, there's a reason that the CEO is the Planetary Regent's primary advisor.
Right. That. Yeah.
Every bit of it is just heresy.
Exactly.
This whole
I
situation
don't.
is not great.
Yeah, I don't think that they're shady now or were shady in the past. I just think that when confronted with the possibility that they might lose a monopoly on keeping the planet healthy, they might not take it well.
So, what do you guys want to do? The vaccine. If you're wanting to jump, is there anything you're wanting to do right now? If not, we can kind of jump forward
only
and
other
kind of
thing-
wrap things up.
Are they even
The other
going?
thing for Harrison would be to oversee the creation of the antigen.
Okay, Merrick.
Just to make sure that we actually get vials for the 2 that are infected.
Yeah. So Harrison, you oversee. They let you in on that. Yeah, the Immunity Corp's resources and capabilities are amazing. They managed to synthesize this in bulk. She wasn't kidding about having a planet-wide logistics infrastructure. They get it out. You're able to get the antigen to Olos and Osborne straight away. You guys are going to be ill, but you're not going to take the 8 stress damage you would have in 24 hours. But yeah, you're well on the way. It is very effective. There are a few more cases of the sudden mutations, but with the information you provided, even in the short time you're there, this is another week and a half, 2 weeks. Immunity Corp is able to, react to that and tweak the vaccine, and they provide the vaccine to the planet for free.
Okay.
Although in those 2 cases there were some copays around the tweaked viral to combat the mutation.
All right. I guess we can skip ahead then.
Okay. So yeah, everybody's fine. You're able to decon the shuttle and the people through the standard, Aurora Enterprise era decontamination procedures. Fundamentally, the exterior of the shuttles and gel. Oh yeah, Merrick.
Gel.
All for everybody.
Vacuum pretty much takes care of the exterior of the suits and the shuttles, of course, and then the people go through the decontamination procedure. Dr. Harrison, everybody who left the ship Harrison is making sure it goes through full decon, and Harrison makes sure it's very thorough. There's lots of rubbing gel on each other and the blue light. Enterprise line. Plus, they always made sure that T'Pol and Hoshi wore the these just skimpy lingerie from hell. But anyway, so yeah, and everybody's good. You are effusively thanked by the planetary regent, and she even goes so far as to offer the Federation an opportunity to send a diplomatic mission to the planet after they've had some time to distribute the vaccine and get everything back and all that kind of stuff. But she said that in a year or 2 they would be more than happy to entertain a diplomatic mission from the Federation. So
All right.
anything else anybody wants to do? If not, we can wrap this up unless anybody's got a scene or anything they'd like to run.
Nope. Just sending my report to the captain.
Okay.
Harrison's just in 6 bay logging the information about the virus.
Right. Yep. Again, it's kind of staggering that they didn't cure it.
Any medical personnel that might wander into his office is going to hear him half muttering, half ranting about the fact that they couldn't figure it out at all in the last 200 years. By the end of Harrison's tenure on the ship, somebody's going to have PTSD about their committing operations from ranting.
All right. If nobody has anything else, that brings us to the end of the module Cure Worse Than the Disease. And just the folks out there listening know, this is written by Christopher L. Bennett. It is part of the, it was also the author of the Birth of the Federation novels. It is also part of the Strange New Worlds collection available from your local gaming store, from Drive-Thru RPG, or directly from the publisher Modifius. And that is A Cure Worse Than the Disease.